Hey guys, hopefully having a great day. I just want to come to you pretty shortly just to share how a mentorship student got to $45,000. They got a contract for $45,000 this week. It's been really, really cool just to see this person's progress. Her name is Kalista, right? And when she first joined, she's on the younger end, so she was just getting started. She had been in a couple of jobs in like public accounting in the past, and she was looking for a way to be able to start making money outside of just the traditional method, right? Because she wanted to start her own business, but she didn't really know the tangible steps to do so. She knew, like, you go and try and get some clients, you price them out, you try and do sales, you try and get them to pay you some money. And it was really cool to be able to see her along the way. I just want to kind of share some of the stuff that has happened to her and how she was specifically able to do that, right? Because I get a number of people that reach out to me each week and, we'll book a call and then they'll be like, what am I supposed to do? How do I do this? Like, it just seems like there's so much stuff overwhelming me, like, having to build a website, having to get the right insurances, having to get a business license, having to, get an office space. And there seems to be all these different things. I want to kind of bring it back to like, what are the main things? So for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Bryce Tubbs, and when I got started, things were a lot harder. So it was back around like 2015 was the original start date. But when we were getting started, like, the market's a lot different now than what it used to be. Like, people used to be very skittish about, virtual bookkeeping. And it was like, what do you mean you're not going to be inside of my office? Like, how can I keep tabs on you? How will I know that you're doing the work well? How do I know that there's not going to be data leaks, right? And it was so much harder back then than what it is today. So even though nowadays it's very, very simple, right? There's still a lot of little complex things we have to do and we have to focus on in order to make sure you can start getting higher ticket clients. But once you're able to do that, then getting clients and growing your business is very, very simple. So I want to kind of break it down into about three different phases. So number one, okay, it's going to be about confidence. So this is the most important thing, right? Sometimes people call like mindset. It's the ability to believe that someone's willing to pay that much money without it being a full-time job. Okay, so the number one thing that I hear from people, especially if they've never really charged on a contract basis more than $1,000 a month, is that you have to get these huge behemoth companies that are doing $1 billion a year for someone to be willing to pay you $4,000 per month. But instead, what you need to be thinking is think about the base level salary of somebody, right? Let's say that someone comes in and they're working, 30, 40 hours a week in corporate America, right? Now, a lot of corporate American companies, they start at, like $10 million in top line revenue, right? And most people in that organization are making at least $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 per month. So when you come into another organization, even though it's not quite the same size or same scale, you have to put in proportion to the amount of work you do. For a company that's doing 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, $5 million per year, if you're doing their accounting, their bookkeeping, and maybe you're a CPA or someone who does taxes watching this, you are their core financial department inside the building. Now, without you, what happens is their company either becomes very unprofitable. They don't really know where their expenses are going. They don't really know how much they're supposed to be saving for taxes. They don't really know what are some different tax codes they're doing. They're just kind of flying blind, almost like an airplane pilot who does not know how to use their navigation tools because the tools have been turned off. Okay, that's the value that you bring. Okay, so once you know the value you bring, your job is to go and find clients that respect that value. Now, where a lot of people fall and kind of struggle is that temptation to settle for less than what you're worth, right? So you might go out and you start saying, I want to go get some clients for, $5 grand a month, $3 grand a month, $4 grand a month. But you start talking to a business owner, maybe you talk to the wrong business owner, like a business owner who doesn't really understand why they need, financial, like anyone watching their financial backs, right? And what happens is they kind of cut you down, like, ooh, how many hours per month is that? It's like 10 hours. I'd be willing to pay you like $15 an hour or $30 an hour, and you let somebody else kind of set what your value is. And then what happens next is maybe you get them as a client, maybe you don't get them as a client. And the next person you go to, you're like, oh, people don't want to pay that much money. People don't want to pay that much money. Instead, what you need to be doing is understanding that someone's getting paid that much money, right? Someone's paying that. You have to go and stick with it and hold your prices high until you're able to go and reach that client. Now, generally, if you don't really know how to charge, like, we do have other videos inside of either the Facebook group, if you're watching it there, inside my YouTube channel that shows you how to price your stuff. If you want to learn more about pricing, go and type in pricing down inside of the comment section below of wherever you're watching this thing. I'll just send a link to that video of a basic way to do pricing. Now, if you want a more exact version, more of a customized way to price, then inside of my mentorship program, I do share that with people, so you know exactly what you need to be saying, exactly what you need to be writing down, based on the scope of work. Scope of work just means like what is sitting in front of you, like number of transactions, type of work do they need? Do they need CFO level work? Do they need just invoicing? Do they need AP? Do they need AR? Do they need financial statements? Like what else do they need? And once you have all that sitting in front of you, it creates a very easy quote for you, and you can just go and quote them very, very, very quickly. Now that's number one about pricing and confidence. Okay, understand that you are worth it. You just have to keep going and keep sticking in there until you find the person who's willing to pay you that much money. Now, number two, and this should really be 1B. Let's go back to pricing. Now, pricing, you need to raise your prices. Most people, when they start out, like their gut prices that they're thinking about charging generally need to be about 1.5x to 3x more than what you're actually charging. And it's okay if the business that you're talking to cannot actually support that. That's a-okay. Hey, someone said, hey, Bryce, hey, if you type in this thing on live, I'm using a tool called Restream, so I can't exactly see who just said hi. So if you could maybe just type in what your name is so I know who it is so I can interact with you. And that just kind of brings me something. So number one, if you're watching this baby live, go ahead and write down hashtag team live so I can make it a little bit more interactive and I'm not just talking to myself and I can respond to you wherever you are. If you're watching this baby on the replay, go ahead and watch hashtag team replay. Type it into the comment section so I know that you're watching the replay, and I'll be sure to leave you some goodies and some different things that you can get. Now, sometimes I might ask you to like and share and comment on the videos, and some people get a little bit confused by that. The reason why I do that is because these videos are free, and the social media platforms reward people who like and share things by showing their content to more stuff. So if I'm going to be, taking the time every week to answer questions, give breakdowns, share stuff with you, I want to make sure I can be seen by as many people as possible. So even though this stuff is free, I am kind of asking that you show your appreciation or show thank you or want to spread the message to help other people out by liking and commenting on this stuff. And then finally, maybe even watching my videos for a little while, or maybe even trying to figure this stuff out on your own, you understand like there's a lot of little stuff that has to go on in order for you to reach your goal. I just invite you to go ahead and click on the link either above or below the video to book a call with me to see if I can help you. On that call, which you can take a look at like where are you right now, where do you want to go, and if I think I can help you out, then just outline what that process looks like in order for us to get you to your goal. Hey, looks like Kyle is watching this thing on LinkedIn. Hello, Kyle. Good to see you. Looks like I got a couple people on Facebook as well. This is kind of cool. It's funny. I usually don't post a lot of content on LinkedIn, but I started doing that about a month and a half ago, just to kind of show people that, LinkedIn works really, really quickly if you know what you're doing. So going back to, okay, you need to about 1.5x to 3x all of your prices. It is a-okay if people say no. It's a-okay if people say no. I'd rather someone say no because my price is too high than for someone to say, yeah, let's do this thing, and I undercharged it. The reason why is because if someone says your price is too high and they kind of go away, you have an opportunity to send them high quality content that educates them on exactly why they should be paying you a higher than average amount of money. And then what happens is I generally teach you guys like a really structured follow-up process, but it takes about 3 weeks to 6 months from when the person first starts speaking to you to when they come back and they're actually excited to pay that higher price. Oftentimes they might have gone for like the budget route and they try something for like really, really cheap. It doesn't really work out. And now they're like, okay, I understand why your price is so much higher. Can we get started? Right? And just makes it so much easier. But if you gave into that temptation to underprice it, it does kind of nip you in the butt because then you end up, underpricing every single time just so you can get your first couple clients. Now, if you really need the money, you can do that. But for me, it's just like I'm always thinking about where do I want to go? Where do I want to go? Do I want to get to 6 figures? And when I get to 6 figures, like what does that look like? Does that look like I'm working, 60, 70 hours because I took every single person I could in the beginning? Or does that look more like I'm working, maybe 15, 25 hours? I have enough margin on each client to subcontract out the work to get good help to do it for me. And I can actually go more like to $20,000 per month. And I can still be working about 25, 30 hours a week and giving enough time to like be able to do what I want, right? So maybe that's, for me, I like going to the gym for about, 1.5, anywhere between like, 1.5 hours a day is kind of where I am. I like doing salsa dancing in the evening, right? So I I get like private lessons from like salsa teachers and stuff, and it's just really, really cool. But I know that, when I was working in corporate America, when I was first starting my business and just taking on any person I could, I didn't really have that time space to be able to do that stuff. So it really took a lot of, consistent and conscious effort to be able to restructure my life, my business, and my schedule to be able to do what I want. Like this, for money if you don't know, like I took a lot of the summer off, and all the systems inside of both my accounting business and inside my coaching business allowed me to be able to get that much needed time off, kind of recover because I went to the hospital for a number of months, or not a number of months, but I was like went to the hospital and I was kind of recovering for a couple of months. But it's all about how you build it, and it all starts with that pricing. Now, if you understand that, go ahead and put down like a one inside of the comments. Just let me know that I made that point clear about pricing. Pricing is that gateway to be able to have that life that you want, and oftentimes a life that many people quit their job for, right? Because the money's cool. It's cool to make 10K a month, 20K a month, 30K a month. But if you don't really have a life that's also supported by that, it's not really as big of a deal. So the next thing you have to be thinking about is, okay, if you are just getting started and you're not really great at marketing, right? A lot of people who I see who are like, either watching videos like these or who are trying to grow their business when they're first getting started, they're not amazing at marketing, right? So a very easy way for you to start getting good at marketing and start getting clients on your way to getting good is learning how to tap into connections of connections. Okay. Now, the reason why this thing is so important is because generally marketing takes time. Okay. What that means is if you're posting content, it's not just like you post one piece of content, someone sees it, and then they like sign up. That does happen occasionally, but if you want to have a consistent growing business, you're going to have to start marketing over time. Now, if you want to cut that part down, you need to start tapping into the trust, relationships, and friendships that other people have built. So number one thing you can do is if you have a LinkedIn profile, or maybe if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, maybe you can do a Facebook profile. But on LinkedIn, go through each one of your contacts, right? If you're friends with them, if you have a first connection basis with them, you can actually go and click on their profile and it shows you every single one of their friends, right? And you can see who owns a business that you might be interested in working with. Also on LinkedIn, the reason why I kind of push LinkedIn so hard is because you can actually go research the companies and see exactly like, how much money they're making, how many employees do they have, how long have they been in business. There's a lot of like little search criteria you can be able to utilize in order to know, is this person potentially a good match for me? And then once you've had that, now you can start making this list, right? So the next thing you're gonna do is after you've seen your connections and then you've seen their friends, for each one of your friends that you possibly can, go ahead and make a spreadsheet. On that spreadsheet, you're gonna want to get those friends of friends and just start listing from top to bottom as many as you possibly can. From there, you're going to want to connect with these business owners and say, hey, I know so-and-so. We're both friends with so-and-so. It'd be really great to connect to see if I can help you, right? Generally, what's going to happen is once you get them to connect with you, then you can start the conversation using your friend's name. Now, the reason why this thing is so powerful is because oftentimes when you're starting out, if you don't have a lot of clients, then you need to be able to get a foot in the door as quickly as possible, with people who are the lowest hanging fruit or the easiest to talk to you, right? Because even though you might not have a million clients yet, or you might not have a billion testimonials, or you might not have a website, you might not have this, what you do have is a friendship with this person. You can at least get a more of like a character review, right? So if that person would say, how do you know so-and-so? You can say, oh, me and so-and-so have been best friends since XYZ thing. We went to the same college. We were, in the same fraternities. We both played sports at XYZ college, right? Then what that person will do is they can actually call your friend to do a little bit of research to make sure you are who you say you are. Once they've done that research, now they come back to you. You guys can have your initial consultation or your initial conversation to set up the consultation, but it comes from a place of trust. So even though they might not, respect you as like this huge accounting professional because you might not have a lot of your marketing resources set up yet, at least they know that you're the person who keeps their words and says you are who you are based on your friend vouching for you. Now, if your friends won't vouch for you, I personally can't help you there. You might want to go and tell your friends that you're doing this. But once you do tell them and they say, yeah, you can use my name as a reference, then it gets really, really easy from there. Now, once you've done that, that should get you about your first 1 to 3 clients. Okay, just being completely honest, it should get you about 1 to 3 clients. Eventually, what you're going to want to start doing is every single time that you get a client, you do that exact same method. So you go to your client's LinkedIn, right? Make sure you connect with them on LinkedIn. because every single person they're connected with. From there, you go and add who are the business owners, who are the business owners there, and then once you know who the business owners are, you add them to a spreadsheet. You do the exact same thing that you just did to first find the friends of friends. Only this time it's friends of clients. So now when you reach out to those people, it's like, hey, oh, how do you know so and so? Oh, I do this person's books, I do this person's tax planning. Oh, I do XYZ thing for this person. Then they go, oh, cool. And now you can ask them, like, would you like to see if I can help you with something similar? Now, in a lot of cases, they might say no, and that's okay if someone says no to you. If they accept your connection request on LinkedIn, what they're basically doing is giving you permission to basically educate them for the rest of your life. Um, and a funny phrase. It's either you educate them until they buy or until they die. And when I say die, it doesn't mean you kill them. It just means until they get old and retired. If that makes a lot of sense to you. And from there, your job is just to keep building that network, getting as many people as you possibly can to know you exist, because then your spider web almost of people who you can, utilize the name, utilize the reputation of keeps growing and growing and growing and growing. And that's how, Costa got this $45,000 per year client. She actually went to an old employer that she used to work at, and she used that person's network and said, hey, do you know this person? Do you know this person? Do you know this person? And the guy said, yeah, I know person number three. So then she said, can you like maybe have a three-person conversation with person three and just kind of, just share about, what you liked about my work, what you didn't like about me, and just maybe just kind of talk to him and just put in a good word for me. So then by the time she reached out to that person, the employer had already put in a good word. It was a very simple conversation. Then she used the sales script that I generally give all the students inside the program to, really break that ice, check out the box inside the other person's mind, and get them to fully understand why they should be paying you, an above average amount of money. Because, when you're using my pricing tools, you're not cheap. Like we are not on the cheap side. It's it's kind of funny. I was talking to this person about, my mentorship program, and the person said, Bryce, wow, that's kind of expensive. And I'm like, well, what'd you expect? Why would the person who's teaching you how to be a high ticket person be like the cheapest person on the market? That wouldn't really make sense in my opinion, but you know how it is sometimes. Now, even though the price is, I mean, it's not like it's super huge, but and we do have like funding. So like I actually partnered with this organization about 6 months ago, and what it does is I have to pay like this monthly fee to allow them to do like funding options that are like 0% APR. And then what that does is, since it's 0% APR, same as cash, depending on what your payment history in life has been like, it can give you payment options that like you can pay it off in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and 12 months, depending on what you qualify for, if you qualify for it at all. And it just makes it super accessible for a lot of it, because like sometimes people will come to me and like maybe they're just getting started in their business, but maybe they've been laid off by their old job. They don't really have a huge amount of cash right in the beginning. So if they qualify for the funding, it allows them to be able to get their foot inside the door, and then they start getting results from the program, and they just pay off that loan. Like some of them pay it off in, like a month. It's like it's ridiculous how fast some of this growth happens, especially if you're really trying it, if you're serious, if you've been growing and putting yourself out there, which using a lot of the steps we teach inside the program. So it's just one of those things, guys. You guys can do it. Like if you just put in the work, you put in the time, you hold your confidence, you hold up your value, you know exactly how to price it. You're not afraid to put yourself out there. And the marketing method that I talk about is a very simple marketing method. It is kind of like basic, because I'm not sitting right in front of you. I don't know exactly where you're starting with. I don't know if you have a million connections or if you have like 10 connections. So it is kind of, something that's a catch all for most people that the average individual can do. Now, if we were working together more closely, of course, I can be like, okay, so this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. This is how you can approach a lot faster. Okay, this is what you need to be saying on the sales call. This is how you should be pricing. Okay, this is why this person didn't quite close. Here's how we get them back on the phone. Like all these different custom options for you to make sure that you reach your goal in a short period of time without having to make all those mistakes and sacrifices that I had to do to build my firm. And if you want help with that, like you just want to go and take, the elevator to success. Like when I say elevator, like it's not like it's like you do nothing, right? But it is a heck of a lot faster than taking the stairs. So if you want some help doing that, if you're tired of trying to figure out your own, you could take the step inside the video, take it, do it, watch all my free content, navigate all this stuff, and you get a good result, right? This video does give you some really tangible stuff that does get a lot of results. But if you just want to avoid a lot of that stuff and just go get a tailored custom plan for you, I just invite you to go ahead and click on the link inside the description, either above or below the video, to book a call with me to see if I can help you. I can't help everybody. And at this point in like, the game we're at, I really only want to work with people who are really fired up, excited, passionate, and ready to go and change their life. So if that's you, I'd love to see you on the call. I'd love to see if I can help you out. If you're not quite ready, that's okay too. I'll see you inside the next video. And take it easy. Talk to you soon. Have a great rest of your day. Have a good one.